Dougherty, and you are listening to the Movie Raid.
It's time for the movie raid, and tonight's victim is actress Mindy Dougherty, that is currently doing Bridge of the Doomed. Hello. So tell us a little bit about this film. It's been in the process for a while, and it's already got a trailer out there and stuff like that. Has this been around for a couple of months? Is this actually about to be wrapped up?
We're actually getting done filming, and tomorrow, producers Michael Bahal and Sunny Mahal have been working on this for several months now, and the writer Adrian Mills, and the top actors Robert Lasardo, Kate, and a couple others. So I've been working on this for many months, getting it together. And I think it's honestly going to be the best zombie movie ever. I think with the cinematographer that we have and the photographer that we have, which is Michael Sue and Anthony Sue, they really make it top-notch. They're real professionals, and working with Robert Lasardo and Michael Pereira, it's been a real honor to work with these professionals, to be honest with you.
You are able to tell us a little bit about your role in this film, that you can tell us a little bit about, like, what your involvement within the story.
Sure. So I am named Specialist Tennessee, and I'm the radio operator, and I basically am directly under General Vasquez, which is Robert Lasardo, and I communicate to him and say that we're getting invaded, basically.
Now, you yourself have a little bit of a military background yourself. Do you ever apply that to this role to almost beef up your role as well, to be more comfortable with it?
Funny you ask that. Right when I put on the uniform, I was in the U.S. Army, so it almost put me right back at when I was 18, and I'm 43 now. So all of the commands, all of the saluting, everything came back as if it was like instantaneous. So I kind of used that for the film and to remind myself of, like, okay, what was our uniform supposed to look like? What did we do at this point? And it was really nice to actually use that military basis to make it realistic as well.
Oh, definitely. And it's really cool to actually have that. It's so many useful. It's not just, of course, saving a country and saving lives, but also in the movie world, now you can actually, you're already in the role before you even realize that you're in the role, because now you really don't have to hesitate. That's the best part of it. It's like you don't have to get nervous. You don't have to wonder whether you're going to get the line down. You're comfortable in terms of the background of the character itself, because you yourself already have that kind of background, kind of layer over that background itself. So it's like a layer over a layer, so to speak.
Right. I was very comfortable doing the radio operator because I was actually a combat medic. And we had to communicate a lot to the generals, and basically I was underneath the flight surgeon, so I was always communicating with him directly. So I really am honored to work with a bunch of really high-class people. I mean, it's been a really awesome experience.
But you also are doing a little bit of the producing of this film, too. How did you end up between being a role in this and actually working as a producer as well? I mean, the two different jobs, but having to have such a big responsibility. How do you, divide that up?
That's a good question. It's a new role, and I kind of wanted to do something different. I have been a nurse for over 20 years and wanted to do something different. In the platform of acting, I wanted to also make sure that I got behind the scenes as well.
Oh yeah, and having that profession and some other aspects of whatever it is that you were doing throughout your life, you taking those bits and pieces, and that's the best part about it. Having to take those little things that you were known before the cinema, and you apply it to cinema. It just adds more to it. It doesn't just add up to your credibility, but it adds more character to what you do. Even if you're not playing a character, it still adds like a different role, like you are as a producer, director, and so forth. It just adds more to it, and it just makes it even more interesting than you ever thought would ever happen, or at least make happen.
Yeah, this has been really fun. I've honestly used a lot of my nursing in some of the movie as well, just as a natural experience. So it's been real fun.
Now, you yourself has been in other films. Having to get in this experience, and especially having a professional experience before cinema, how do you feel having to go into other basically dimensions of horror, having to experience different characters, and having to get more credibility of what you do?
I'm really having a lot of fun. This is the third movie I've actually been in the background of, but the first movie that I've actually had multiple scenes in. On this one I had 7 scenes, and I got to speak with Robert Lasardo. So I really am hoping that it progresses from here, and I get to really use this portion of the films that I've done in the past and this one to work with others in the future.
Now, you yourself has also been a little bit of a motivational speaker as well. How do you apply wrapping a positive around a negative when applying to yourself to a character?
I am very big on being in the moment, and that's Also, I've written a book. I'm also a public medical researcher, and just had a mesenchymal stem cell transplant. So I used to stutter a lot. My words used to get backwards. So everything that I've been doing now has been basically setting me up to what I'm doing in the future. As far as in a couple weeks or next year, basically, I'll be speaking to high school children about suicide awareness and anti-bullying and bringing that anger to the scenes and stuff like that. I can use the stuff that I had in my past to just bring that emotion about it, and also show people that no matter what happens in life, you can choose a reference point to move forward with. Like, I created a company called Feed My City, and it's feedmycity.net basically, and I feed hungry people. And so just thinking in the realms of, like, even if in a movie, if I needed to be compassionate, or if I needed to be angry, or if I needed to be understanding, I kind of use those emotions and those passageways to get me there.
Now, do you rely on this kind of method in terms of applying yourself to these characters, or do you think it's all partly about the style of how you progress to it?
I've learned a lot of improv, and I've been doing a lot of different scenes in that way for the last year and a half. So I rely a lot on improv and laughter and comedy to get me through, even in my horror scenes, because after a certain amount of energy, I find I have to decompress somehow, so I use comedy a lot to decompress, to kind of improv it out.
Oh yeah, it's like you're feeding things through a channel, even if it's even really bad things through a channel, and then sometimes you kind of transform on the other side into something else that you like it to be. So let's say if it's something really negative, right, it goes through whatever channel that you want it to go through, but then you just automatically transform on the other side into that comedy a little bit with a dash of that negativity, and then there you go. You just got part of a side of your character automatically off the bat.
Right. And then I can decompress and be a regular human being. Because I don't want to be, if I'm in a character where it's really, really harsh, I don't want to take that with me. I want to kind of be able to be like, okay, cut.
Being in these type of films, especially horror, does it help you in a way from your past experiences toward this, or would you like to actually expand that further from your past experiences and channel them through other mediums of the film industry itself?
I just like to do everything in the film industry, to be honest with you. This has been a very great opening to express my past and to actually move me into a realm where I realized I picked a safe career. Like, I picked nursing because I could definitely get paid, and now I'm moving into an industry where it's in the unknown, and I really, really like it. I found that I'm actually more comfortable in this realm, and I'm a really good nurse, but I've been doing it for I've been since age 18. I've been in the medical field, so it's time to do something different.
Now, do you try not to stereotype yourself, though, even though you have experience as being as a nurse or any other type of other experience outside the film industry? Do you try not to stereotype so that you just don't get roles specifically for what your specialty is?
I don't pigeonhole myself into actually anywhere, just because I feel like since I've been doing improv, I can kind of chameleon my way into different things like horror, comedy, romance. And I don't really think that any genre, I think I could pretty much do any genre at this point.
Which genres are you rather be more experienced with? Clearly in horror, you're already doing fairly well for yourself. Which one do you think is really going to be the most experienced, at least for starters, for you, or is this the genre that you'd rather pick right now?
I'd really love to do the Vikings or something similar to that with Catherine Winnick and Travis Fimmel, or something that's in that field, or kind of drama or comedy. Actually, all of it, really. To be honest with you, I kind of like to stick in each of them, so I don't get stuck in one.
Yeah, being stuck in one genre, okay, it's not so bad. It really isn't so bad, but at the same time, you can go for a long journey in one genre, but you can only go so far, and sure, you can keep going far, but at the same time, if you want to really express other sides of what you're capable of as a actor especially, you gotta branch out into other things. You gotta take those risks, and you gotta get out of your comfort zone in some aspects, because if you don't, well, yeah, I mean, at some point, it's almost like if you're on stage doing the same exact act. Let's say it's a magic act. You're doing the same trick every single night. Well, people keep going to your show. They keep seeing the exact same trick. Eventually, it's going to get stale. Eventually, people are no longer going to see you, and that means, guess what? Now you just downgrade yourself as this one pony show, so to speak.
Right. Or you get boring, and I don't want to get boring.
I mean, that's I know it's a bad thing to say that, but at the same time, it's reality, man. Because you're an actor, you want to express your art, your visions through whatever mediums that necessary in order to get that character out there to the audience. And if you just simply play the safe card, play whatever cards you think it's basically going to be helping you, well, in a way, it's not going to help you at all down the line. It's really going to be harming you than helping you. It makes you feel good, but at the same time, money-wise, it's definitely not going to help you. And popularity-wise, in terms of if people want to see what else you can do, well, it's going to be limited.
Right. Yeah, that's why I like to do everything, stay in that rainbow instead of staying in one particular genre. I think that's why improv really helped me, because it really is like, okay, we're going to be doing this, and you have no idea what you're going to do. You can be an old man one minute and then be like a joker in the next.
Now, as other films that you have performed in, did you practice that improv as well, or is it pretty much straightforward, like to the point where you can't experience it as much as you'd like to?
So in other films, I was doing improv and then extra work, but it doesn't really count, I guess they say. And then the last film that I did, called One Dead Dog, I had like one or two lines, and that was I was a thief in that one. And the next one that's coming up is Robert Englund's documentary, and I think there's about a few more actors that need to collaborate on that. But that one's an amazing one, because Robert Englund's like the king of, I think, horror. Nightmare on Elm Street, and all of his fans are collectively ready for that one as well.
Oh yeah, and of course Robert Englund's fantastic playing this role, fantastic actor. I certainly enjoy his work as outside of Freddy Krueger, of course. Are you able to discuss a little bit about the biography too, as your involvement as well, or can we just expect this later?
On that one, no, just because there's multiple different facets to that one, so that one has to wait until it comes out.
Oh, okay, cool. Now, what do you expect with this film? Do you think this is really going to be a gem for the festivals of this year for you for your career? Do you think it's going to help you boost up a little bit, or is this really more of a reference to the point where you can say, well, this is what I was in, to get better roles from other areas of the film industry?
I think it's a kickstarts my career. I think in the horror film industry, this is definitely a great start. Like I said, Bridge of Doom is definitely, I believe, going to be a really, really, really good zombie movie, and I think it's starting off to a great start.
You said you wanted to do other things in the film industry as well. What's the most three things that you would like to be more accomplished in, aside from this acting? What's the three other things that you'd like to be most accomplished in the film industry with?
I think I'd like to be doing a combination of directing, producing, and acting.
As far as benefit, would this benefit you better, or do you think this is more going to help you on a personal level, so to speak?
I like the aspects of the film portions of it. I like to watch behind the scenes and how things are going, and I like to be involved in it as well. I think this kind of helps me and will help me in the future as far as other films, basically to get a more rounded kind of feel as well.
Oh yeah, getting all the experience that you can, it's a fantastic thing, having to get everything that you can experience, whatever it is that you choose to. As far as choosing it, it's really not a huge problem, but as far as progressing and trying to accomplish it, it's going to be very, very difficult. This industry is really, really rough, but over time, once you get the most experience, it'll be just fine as long as you just keep at it.
Right.
Now go ahead and plug in any websites or any other projects that we can check out right now.
I'm on SaveMyCity.net, and then you can check out Bridge of the Doomed on Instagram, Twitter, and then on Save My City has multiple. Instagram is Water Gypsy, which is WTRGPSY, and that's also my Instagram.
Well, very cool, very cool. Looking forward to check these out. And that is Mindy Dougherty.
Yes, thank you so much for your time.